Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We got a double dose of good news on a couple of good coaching hires made by Mike Macdonald and Klint Kubiak. We'll catch you up to speed on those hirings coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there, also known as Singles Awareness Day to some, including Aaron Rodgers. He's a little lonely these days. I want to know, is Valentine's Day just a scam? I believe personally that Valentine's Day is a scam by Hallmark to sell cards. Hot take maybe, but I full-heartedly believe it. What do you guys think? Chime into the comment section. Y for yes, in for no. We'll get started with today's show. So let's catch up to speed on Seattle's coaching hires. There's two in particular I want to focus on today where the good news comes from, but there's been a couple of more that have occurred within the last couple of days. We haven't got the chance to really talk about some of these hirings that have been made yet, but let's tell you who those are. Thorpe got promoted to the defensive analyst and special teams assistant role, defensive assistant rather, that is, staying on staff from his previous position. And then one of the hirings I'm very excited about, part of the good news today, includes Justin Outten getting hired as the run game specialist. We'll tell you more about him coming up later on. And then Micahel Byrne was hired as an offensive assistant. We'll have that's an interesting hire, too. That's another one I like and kind of goes along with what Seattle's doing when it comes to the run game. We'll explain more here in just a bit. And then there's another hiring that is actually in the process of being finalized as we speak. According to reports, the Seattle Seahawks are expected to hire Rick Dennison from the New Orleans Saints. This report coming out from Ian Rappaport, the NFL Network, providing some context. This was just a couple of days ago, saying the Saints have given permission for senior offensive assistant Rick Dennison to speak to the Seahawks. Per me and Mike Garafolo, Dennison, a respected assistant, came to New Orleans with Klint Kubiak and is expected to join him in Seattle if the sides can find a deal now that Kellen Moore is the Saints head coach, and all signs indicate that that is going to happen. And I got to say, first and foremost, with all of these coaching staff hirings, and we talked a lot about them last week as well, of the changes that Kubiak is making to this offensive staff, and there's been a couple of hirings as well on the defensive side, as mentioned just a moment ago. The big thing is I have no complaints about these coaching staff hires. There's not one hire here that just screams red flag or something that's just overwhelmingly concerning. I think that's a big deal in itself. Now, maybe you could argue that there's some hires they potentially could have done better on. You could make that case potentially, but you could have done a whole lot worse. And the other thing that I'll say, too, I appreciate that Mike Macdonald is letting Kubiak do his thing. That Kubiak got to bring in his guys that he's familiar with, that Mike Macdonald's not micromanaging these coaching hires, and he's putting Kubiak in the best position to succeed. I think that's a very good thing. We will give you my grade for the Seahawks coaching hires in a moment, but want to hear from you guys. How would you grade these hires? A, B, C, D, or F? Way in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Seahawks Today is all over the Seahawks offseason here on the channel, as we are bringing you daily news and rumors, live shows twice a week, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day here on the channel. We have the latest happenings on your favorite team all off-season long here on Seahawks Today. We're talking everything you need to know. If you're a real member of the 12s, you got to be subscribed to the channel. We need at least 50 subs off today's video. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications, youtube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. My grade, I'm going to go with A- here on these grades. And the reason why I'll go A-, I like the hirings. Not necessarily a big name hiring in this bunch that everybody just steps back and says, how did they hire him? So I'll go A-, but a very good grade nonetheless. And I got to tell you, when we start with this double dose of good news today, Justin Outten, to me, is a hire I really like. And I know some of you right away are going to be a little concerned when I tell you that he was the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos in Russell Wilson's first year there. But I would counter with saying that Nathaniel Hackett was the play caller, and so there's not too much you can blame Justin Outten for that situation. But nonetheless, experience as a play caller, which will bode well for a guy that's just being asked to be a position coach, or not experience as a play caller, experience as an offensive coordinator, rather, is what I meant to say. But you look at where he's come from. Most recently with the Tennessee Titans, he was the tight ends coach for a season, also running backs coach, run game coordinator. He's been in the NFL for a bit, about 9 years to be exact, as an NFL assistant. And here's another thing that I find fascinating about this hiring of Justin Outten here is that his role that he's being hired to fulfill as run game specialist, this is a new role for the Seattle Seahawks coaching staff. Mike Macdonald made 20-plus hires last cycle, did not hire a run game specialist or a run game coordinator of sorts in that last go-round of hirings. And this role that Outten is going to fulfill as run game specialist, run game coordinator is going to be unique, and it's going to emphasize Seattle's new idea of embracing the run game here. No run game coordinator has been on Seattle's coaching staff since 2021. That is a long time, my friends. And Klint Kubiak, I think when we mention about this going toe-to-toe with what he's looking to do and evolve this offense, he said this week about his offensive philosophy. We're going to have an identity. We want to be smart. We want to be tough. We want to be physical. Those are three critical attributes. But it's important that we can run the football. Creating this position, run game specialist, and making these hires, that it lines up exactly with what the Seahawks are saying they want to do offensively. Now, in the previous regime with Ryan Grubb, one of my big criticisms was we heard Ryan Grubb say all the time, oh, we want to run the football. We want to be a run-first football team. And then they would do something completely different, right? Well, now Kubiak is saying, yes, we want to be tough, physical, we want to run the football. And now they're making the hirings to back up what they say they are going to do. More from Kubiak on the offensive philosophy. We're going to start with that being an outside zone, but obviously we're going to incorporate gap schemes, inside zones, pin and pull. We've got to do what our players do best, so we have a philosophy that we believe in, a style that we believe in. But you've got to be able to win more than one way, like we said. So we'll start with the fundamentals, running off the ball, and then we'll get to know our guys. We better do what they do best, or else we're not going to like the results. So let's ask you, how confident are you that the Seahawks run game is going to get fixed in 2025? Type HY for hell yes. HN for hell no. I will not judge you for how you feel one way or the other. Just be honest with me. Let me know how you feel if you think the run game is going to get fixed or not. Got a great deal. We're offering Seahawks fans right now. Seahawks hats are on sale for up to 50% off at chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. And we got a variety to choose from, folks. From the flat bill to the baseball cap style, these are some of the options, but there are plenty of more hats to see for yourself. All you got to do is go to chatsports.com/Seahawks hats to get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. You can also see our other Seahawks gear we're selling over there as well. So with the expected hiring of Dennison, what exactly is his role going to be? Well, we got some context of that via X from Brady Henderson of ESPN, who covers the Hawks, and he said the following yesterday. The Seahawks are also talking to Rick Dennison, who worked with both Klint and Gary Kubiak over several stops. He was with Klint last season in New Orleans as a senior offensive analyst, and I imagine he'd have a similar role in Seattle if he's hired. And the rumblings are that it's kind of over that run game idea as well, that he would be kind of his area of expertise. And Dennison, this is a guy that's been around the yard for a minute. Folks, yours truly. I am 28 years of age. I turned 29 this year. Unfortunately, that's 1 year closer to 30. But this man, Rick Dennison, has been an NFL offensive assistant longer than I have been alive on this planet we call Earth. 29 years, to be exact. He's been an OC at 3 different stops, the Bills, Broncos, among other places. I mean, he's been everywhere. And most recently with the Saints as senior offensive assistant, he's got a pretty good resume. And I'll say this, too. One credit I would give Kubiak with these hirings is that Kubiak, his background is through the passing game, of being a passing game guy, whether it was working with quarterbacks and all of that in his years prior to being an offensive coordinator and all that. That's his area of expertise when it comes to coaching up an offense. And what he's doing with hiring guys like Dennison, the second half of our double dose of good news today, and Justin Outten, is he's surrounding himself with guys that know the run game. So Kubiak is saying, hey, passing game's my cup of tea. I'll work with the quarterback. I'll figure the passing game out. And I'm going to bring in people that know the run game, and we are going to come together and have some synergy here. And to me, I love that of maximizing your potential, your capabilities to have the most well-rounded offense you possibly can have. Who is your favorite Seahawks coaching hire here? If you had to give me one name, who is it? Who comes to mind that is your favorite coaching hire of this group? Weigh in the comments section. Let us know. Thanks for watching this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day. And if you made it to the end of today's video, that means you're a real one. That means you're a real member of the 12s. Spam 12s in the comments section, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.